Yeah, his name isn't Mark, it's Luigi Mangione. And on this day last year, we learned his name, the name of the alleged United Healthcare assassin. That footage, the body cam footage, and other evidence collected by police in Altoona, Pennsylvania, are keys to both the prosecution's case against Mangione and now the defense's. Luigi's lawyers say this video and other evidence presented at a pretrial hearing this week proved that their client, his rights, were violated. The irony here is Luigi is seen as a modern-day Robin Hood by some, a man lifted up for murdering a craven business executive. But Luigi is already trying to get off on technicalities. In a sentence, he is a privileged trust fund kid mounting a defense a poor person could never afford by claiming he's fighting for poor people. With us now, former federal prosecutor, DOJ official in the Janet Reno era of the DOJ, Shan Wu, former Deputy Assistant Attorney General George W. Bush, Tom Dupree. Gents, good to see both of you. Is there enough in this, Shan Wu, to get the case thrown out?
No. Maybe there's enough to get some evidence suppressed, but very, very far from getting the case thrown out.
Tom, doesn't seem as though anybody is arguing that Luigi Mangione is innocent. It is, trying to find enough evidence to throw out that a jury can, have like an OJ type verdict?
Well, maybe they're aiming for a kind of a jury nullification where the jury just simply refuses to apply the law in the spirit of justice and equity. I don't see that happening. I think any attempt to portray Luigi Mangione as anything other than an alleged cold-blooded assassin, murderer, criminal is wrong. What we have seen from him so far is not any sort of acceptance of responsibility or political statement or anything like that. I mean, he appears to be trying to mount a defense with these arguments that we've seen today. I don't think it's going to work, but we'll still have a few more days of figuring out what evidence can come in before a trial actually happens.
Yeah, well, OJ spent decades searching for the real killer, so these things can work. Shan, have we seen a case, I guess almost since OJ, right, where someone appears to be so obviously guilty, and yet at the same time, they are so celebrated outside the courtroom with throngs of people coming to support them, and in that case, the defense doesn't really have to argue that he's innocent, do they? They just sort of poke enough holes in the case.
That's right. I think we've seen a lot of cases like that since OJ. I mean, when Michael Jackson was on trial, even the recent trials with, Sean Diddy Combs and such, we seem to be very much in an era, even the Johnny Depp, which is not a criminal trial, we're in an era where the celebrity aspect of things really takes over the trials. In court, the defense counsel doesn't have to do nullification because they've got the reputation of their client, the star power there. But they do technical things to erode the credibility. And the little shaking up that Karen Agnifilo gave today, who, full disclosure, is a colleague of mine, top-tier defense lawyer, former number 2 in Matt Diaz's office, she shook up that police witness.
Yeah, we have it. Stephen Fox.
Right.
No, we had not completely finished searching the backpack. The compartments, which I felt could contain a bomb, I felt were very clear. This is a police officer, defense attorney that you knew. You were aware that there was testimony that a silencer was found in the compartment. You didn't look. Police officer, I was aware a silencer and a gun were found in the backpack and that it could be in the shape of a pipe bomb. Yes. And you missed that. Yes. That's not really great police work.
Right. Look, defense lawyers make these types of arguments all the time. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. What I heard
I don't
today,
want you as my defense lawyer.
I am a prosecutor by nature, Leland. But look, what I would say is that these arguments, again, sometimes they work, sometimes they don't work, but I haven't heard anything today that would suggest that there would be enough evidence excluded to prevent a conviction here.
Okay, so, right, and yet he's spending how much per hour on this top-tier defense team, either from his own trust funds or from the millions that have been raised for him,
right,
because he's now become some kind of celebrity. We don't have to point out the irony, because you don't have to point out irony, that he's claiming to be Mr. Robin Hood here, is fighting for the poor, and yet launching this big multi-million-dollar defense. You say that the defense lawyers don't actually have to bring up the celebrity nature, this sort of nullification nature. What do they have to do to get some of the people who are outside protesting on the jury? That kind of mentality.
Yeah. So for that, Jury selection is a big part of that. They're going to pay a lot of money for very skilled, expensive jury consultants to try and get people in that frame of mind on there in a sort of a subtle way. Then what they want to do is give those people something to hang their hat on. Give them a hook for reasonable doubt.
So the OJ case, it was give them Mark Furman and
right, exactly.
Did you or did you not use the N-word type of thing?
Yeah, exactly. You want something like that. Yeah.